Why do we keep on putting our children on different medication after diagnoses that don't even make sense? So, for example, I will start with the definition of this, and this is basically a good definition. You can actually Google the definition of autism and challenge this definition. So, this is what is being said by those people who are actually diagnosing your children of autism, that autism spectrum disorder. Now, from the beginning, you will get it just wrong. They got it just wrong. They actually classified it as a spectrum. You know, a spectrum is a broad band, right? So if a spectrum is a broad band, don't forget to share, like, and subscribe to the video. Thank you so much, Safi. So a spectrum is a broad band. So if we have a broad band, why would we define it as one condition? Why would we even give it a definition? Why don't we focus on just managing what caused the condition, the spectrum, instead of just focusing on calling it autism, and then we start fixing autism, and yet we've not even defined it. So listen to this, that autism spectrum disorder is a developmental disorder that affects communication, that is one. Two is behavior and social interaction. Underline as we go ahead. It affects communication. So these children or these people are unable to communicate clearly, which is shaky. Number two, their behavior and their social interaction. So that is the definition of autism. But I want to ask you this for free. You've realized that nowadays there are so many schools that are opening, and these schools are for special children. They call them special schools, right? Where were these schools about 20, 30 years ago? That now there are conditions. The shaking is still there. Why is this happening? I don't know. I don't know what is happening with that, though. Yes, anyway, we'll continue. We cannot stop now. We will stop. We will fix it on some other day. So now, yeah. So why are we having all these schools and these special care centers coming up so fast that are actually going to take care of children who have special condition or special needs? Do you now get to see my point? I talked to you about how people manage these conditions, that these addictions, like drug addiction. And we were clear that putting your children in a center, putting these people who are addicted to drugs, alcohol, bang, and all this cocaine stuff, putting them in one center to just help them achieve their goals of reversing their addictions is somehow crazy. We all know that if you have a child or a baby and you want this child to speak faster or to adapt to things quickly, what do? Do you keep this child inside the house, or do you let this child play outside with other children who are older than this child? That's a question to you. If you have a child and you're interested in this child speaking faster, adapting new language faster, and being healthy, do you keep this child hooked on a television or on a phone or on a laptop in the house, or do you let this baby or this child play outside with other children so that he can learn from other children who are older than him and challenge him? And the reality is, you would rather let this child play outside so that they can get experience from other children, right? That's how your son or your daughter starts to speak further or faster. But look at it this way. When somebody is struggling with drug addiction, alcohol addiction, and even sex addiction, these people are placed in a rehab center. And a rehab center is actually encompassing people who have the same qualities. So all the drunkards in one center, all the the people who are addicted to bang in that center too. So therefore, it simply means your chances of survival are very minimal, because how will you get out of this when you still feel comfortable around people who drink like you, people who smoke like you, people who are addicted to things like you? So why are we having all these rehab centers? Look at Mombasa. Mombasa is actually a place that has a lot of rehab centers in one area. But the cases of of drug addiction and all these issues in Mombasa are still going up. Why? It's because, how can you put me in you want me to walk out of my alcohol addiction, but you put me in a center of other addicts, and then you're busy pumping methadone in me, you're busy pumping alcohol, you're busy giving me the same drugs to help me win off my addiction. But I'm in the same environment with people who are drinking like me, who are addicts like me. And I told you, it's like being clever in a school of fools. You come up number one on a list of people who are fools. And then we have to celebrate you, we clap for you. Hey, you are the best fool. You get my point? So this is the same thing that happens. Nowadays, special schools are all over, and you're taking your children to these special schools, hoping that these special schools have something unique that will change your child's or your son, daughters, and they will change their lives. One of these cases is this autism. So you take these children to those schools, and there they have other children who have the same conditions. So number one, these children are isolated. They start feeling like, oh, okay, this is where stigma starts actually. So naming them special children, that becomes a serious problem. You can imagine now, a child is in a special school with autism, and now when he comes back home, you want to help him win off the stigma about autism. So from the definition, they got it wrong. Development disorder that affects communication, behavior, and social interaction. But that wasn't a problem. I want you to know, for us to diagnose mental health conditions, there is a manual. And that manual is what we call the DSM. DSM is a manual that was actually still used, only that they review and they update. It's a manual that is being used to update issues with mental health diseases, diagnose and then give the treatment guidelines. It's called a DSM. And from 2013 backwards, we had a DSM-4. And this is where it got interesting. I was telling a friend of mine this story, and this is where it got interesting. So in DSM-4, that was 2013 and back, it actually classified autism in different categories. And these were the names, some of the names that were put on this condition called autism. So they actually named it so that different conditions. So because it's a spectrum, and there's a lady who actually came up with this diagnosis of this spectrum thing, and she actually won some prizes for just naming a disease that she cannot even define on her own. So listen to this. DSM-4. What were the classifications? Number one, they named it autistic disorder. So it started with autistic disorder, and then they went to Asperger's disorder. Now remember this guy called Asperger's, he's called Hans Asperger. This is a guy who, back then, him and the other guy called Leo, I think Leo Kiena or something. Those are the two guys who actually came up with this autistic diagnosis and the research on autism. So another name, and it got so confusing here because they named it childhood disintegrative disorder. So I wanted to sit, yes, Leo Kana, thank you so much, Jackie. So imagine you sit back and a psychiatrist is running through a DSM manual and he tells you your son writes up a diagnosis that your child is now suffering from childhood disintegrative disorder. You as a parent, tell me, how does that come to you? How does that hit you? Like, my child is having disintegrative childhood disorder. You're like, oh, Daktari, what next do you do? This must be a very serious condition, right? But as we go ahead, you'll realize that most of these conditions are dietary conditions, and there is a substance that fries the brain, that destroys the brains in these children. But taking care of a child or a baby starts before a woman gets pregnant. This is the reason why I insist women should eat healthy before you even get pregnant. For you to avoid these conditions in pregnancy, for you to avoid problems in pregnancy, for you to give birth to healthy babies and produce enough breast milk for 6 months, you must start feeding well before you even get that pregnancy. You prepare yourself for the pregnancy, and then you eat healthy during the pregnancy, and then after the pregnancy you continue the life so that you don't start blaming it on baby fat. Baby fat, it's not baby fat, it's you eating yourself to where you are. So that was number 3. So we have autistic disorder, and then Asperger's disorder, and then childhood disintegrative disorder. And the next one, PDD-NOS. Now these are abbreviations, PDD-NOS. Now, of course, even a medical doctor, when you see PDD-NOS, you're like, okay, what is this? And then listen to how it is actually pronounced. This is, or actually, what these abbreviations mean. Pervasive development disorder. Hey, pervasive development disorder. So that is PDD. Then hyphen, not otherwise specified. Hey, if I end this live here right now, we've taken about 20 minutes to discuss this. We are still on definition, but we are still so confused that this is just crazy. We are so confused. I want psychiatrists to come in and the psychologists to come in and tell us, what do you guys mean when you tell us these names? PDDNOS, pervasive development disorder, and then not otherwise specified. So basically what these people are saying is, we are just throwing out this word, but we don't know what that disease is. Now go on the internet and try to find out information about autism and the causes. Guess what they say the causes are, or the etiology? It has no known cause. Hey. It has no known cause, and it's familial, so it is in the genetics. And I told you, if you have been here for long, you know. When you hear a doctor telling you it has no known cause, or idiopathy, or it is in genetics, just know your doctor does not know what he's treating. He does not know what he's saying. So autism is one of the conditions that was just thrown out there, and people attained it. They took it and adapted it. Same to most of the health conditions. You've heard of ADHD, attention deficit hyperactive disorder. So your child is suffering from lack of attention. Hey, where did this come from? Why did we have children not suffering from these conditions 20, 30 years ago? And like now it's becoming a serious thing, and we are diagnosing it with in children and then giving them medication for ADHD. Children are given drugs for ADHD, right? Just because a child is jumpy all over, because they are eating foods that are highly inflammatory to the brain. The sugar is there, of course. And now we have to give them a drug that will stop them from hyperactivity. Now we have another one that is called OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. These are names that even if you take time to try and understand them, they're just crazy. And that's why I say sometimes most of our diseases are just basically dietary, but they don't want to do that, because if they take you to the dietary direction, they're actually going to fight the food industry. And remember, the food industry is actually funding some of these things. The pharmaceutical industries determine who will win a Nobel Prize for a disease or a condition, a new research and a new condition. And these things are happening in those countries. Of course, children in America eat a lot of bad foods. Children in UK eat a lot of crazy stuff. Look at the footballers. They get heart attacks before they even get to retirement age. At 36, somebody has a heart problem. Look at people there. America is about 40% obese and overweight people, but they're the same people who are suffering from this condition. And look at what is happening to them. They want to dictate the world to follow them so that we can, misery loves company. Now they are pushing the LGXYZ agenda to your throats, to your governments, and we are adapting it. These are the same conditions that these people suffer from, but they bring it to us. Now they don't understand even our genetics. Let's say genetics plays a role. They don't understand our genetics. That is one. Number two, they don't even understand our foods. So they are dictating our diets according to their foods. Who is fooling who? So somebody from the West has to sit down, determine that the sun is going to cause you skin cancer. Of course, their skin is crazy. Their skin doesn't have melanin, so they are going to suffer from skin cancer if they expose themselves to the sun. And then that person determines that the sun will cause skin cancer in their skin, but pushes it in your throat as an African, and you adapt it, and you're busy now applying sunscreen. Now you become deficient of vitamin D, and same people will bring you vitamin D supplements. You see that? You think they're stupid? So the research is for them. They know nothing about our foods. I was reading a book that was actually talking about the foods that disappeared in Africa, African foods that actually disappeared, including our wheat. Now we've adapted their things and we use them, and we are thinking that they are the special ones. These are people who think Africans are very, very lazy, and they are very poor, and they are mentally retarded. And they're the same people who are writing you DSM-4 and DSM-5. They reviewed DSM-4 in 2013 and came up with now calling it attention spectrum, ASD and ASC. So D for disorder and C for condition. So they realize when they say disorder, you people get offended because a disorder is actually a disease. It's something that has to be victimized. So for them to just sugarcoat it, they call it a condition. Now, the earlier we stop listening to those people, the better for us. You've seen the confusion that they've brought in the country. We cannot allow them to bring the same confusion here through their pharmaceutical companies. But we cannot do this by relying on our legal authorities or governments, because our governments are totally compromised. Our regulatory bodies are compromised. Because how is it possible that some of these conditions, their treatment guidelines, are coming from the West and they are sponsored by pharmaceutical companies? Look at depression. You don't have a job. Instead of finding a job, they tell you are depressed. And then they tell you, no, depression comes because you don't have a job. And you believe it and you become. And guess what? Antidepressants are coming. Now you think antidepressants are going to pull you out of depression. And what do? They cause you suicidal thoughts as a side effect. That is more depression. So where are we heading with that? Digging us early graves, right? They lie to our women that, you know what, hormonal contraceptives are going to help you control birth. Then women run to it because we never question anything that is coming from a European. A white person, when they say something, we are running there. They just put a headline, red meat will cause you cancer. You are busy there, avoiding red meat. Little do you know that these people are going to give you these solutions or these research and peer-reviewed papers to only create room and market for their products. They tell you cholesterol is bad for your consumption, and they classify cholesterol into bad and good cholesterol. But they don't tell you the liver makes cholesterol. So how can the liver make something that kills you? And then you avoid cholesterol-rich foods. You go in fat-soluble vitamin deficiencies, vitamin A deficiency, D, E, and K deficiencies. And they have a supplement for you. They have an immune booster for you. They tell you your child is running all over. So this child is suffering. He has a disease. This is a condition. The child is not supposed to be running this way. And now there's a drug for ADHD. Now they give you autism. They cannot even define it, but they win Nobel Prizes for this nonsense. And of course, there is a drug for it. There's solutions for it. There's speech therapy. There is now social therapy. There is sleep therapy for these conditions. But the weird part is these children are not getting any better. They're getting worse. Every time we give birth, somebody has that condition. Somebody has a deformity. But we will never relate to the contraceptives that we used. We will never relate to the food industry, the food that are coming from the food industry that are actually fortified, zero nutritional value. No fiber, no vitamins, no nothing. But they are written on fortified with folic acid. They tell you to give your children folic acid so that it prevents the problems that will come with the brain and the spinal cord when you have a pregnancy. Only to come later and tell you folic acid actually causes deformities in these children. And by that time they are saying these deformities are happening in children, how many women have taken iron sulfate and folic acid? They know very well your animals are grass-fed. So they know we have zebu cattle and zebu goats and all these, the grass-fed livestock. And they realize, oh, these guys are coming to be a problem in future. So what do they say? They bring you vaccines for this livestock. When they bring you vaccines, the same way they brought you GMO seeds. Now our zebu cows are dying from different diseases that we don't even know. Nowadays we don't have even our own maize seeds, the seedlings that we used to use to cultivate maize. We don't have them anymore. And of course they are coming with the chest up with a solution. They have hybrid seeds. And all of us, because we are so hungry, because hunger is the enemy, we are running to take these genetic seeds, these genetically modified seeds, to plant them. We are forgetting we have a generation to protect. It's not about us. If you want to feed yourself with bad foods, you feed yourself with bad foods, but at least protect that person who is in your womb. Ladies, they brought you KFC, they brought you chicken in. All this is coming in with MSG, monosodium glutamate, the synthetic one, not the natural one that is found in our meats. And this destroys and fries the brain of your child. From the womb, as you eat that food, you're destroying the central nervous system of the child. And then when you give birth to a child who is mentally retarded, they have a solution for you. They are so clueless in their countries, but they want to dictate things here. Some of you take your children or your people to these countries for treatment, forgetting that you've seen a massacre that just happened in Githurai. People being cut off, chopped off organs. You find dead bodies without organs. Where do you think those organs are going to? You're seeing the smaller picture. You saw dead bodies are still being excavated in Shakahola without organs, and you're not even thinking. You're thinking, oh, the government is doing a very good job trying to show us. Oh, the media is doing a good job informing us that the bodies are being taken out of Shakahola. A country that has an intelligence, National Intelligence Service, but bodies, about 300 bodies being buried in Shakahola and nobody knew about it. Bodies being buried in Githurai and nobody knew about it. And then you take your child or your son from here or your parents from here, take them to India, take them to the United States because you can afford it. You have money, right? You take them there to go and have an organ transplant. So let's harvest organs here, take them to the United States, and then take our people there. How stupid are we? Our hospitals can do a very good job, only that most of our doctors are sleeping on the job. They're actually compromised. They are the ones who actually orchestrate sometimes. People die and postmortem is done and organs are missing. Your doctor is transporting organs to the West. So here, you're seated here, taking your child to the West because they have high technology, right? To get that heart that was taken out of here. Hey, when will we ever learn? So instead of just feeding yourself and feeding your children with healthy foods from here, natural and organic foods from here, you would prefer to eat their foods brought in by KFC. Yes, this is not ours. We used to eat sweet potatoes. We still eat sweet potatoes, pumpkins, butternuts. But their foods mess up your taste buds, and you start thinking that our foods are not healthy. Their foods are the ones that are healthy because you see the advertisements on TV, right? So you don't feed your children here. You don't feed yourself here. You feed from the foods from their countries. Countries of people who have 40% of the population is obese and overweight. We trust their foods. We feed from their foods. Go to these food parlors on Tuesdays and see the lines. See the queue. And what are they loading in the system? They are loading MSG, monosodium glutamate. They are loading processed flavors. They are loading chemicals in their systems. And these are pregnant women standing on a line waiting for that chicken. She's pregnant. And then feeds on these things, hoping that the child will feed on something from the skies. No, the child will still feed from the same MSG. And now you kill the brain of the child. You destroy the spinal cord. Then when you give birth to a deformed child, you're wondering. You start to say, because Africans, we are so brainwashed by religion, you start to say, this is Satan. Hii ni uchawi. This is witchcraft. Witchcraft from where? Witchcraft from that food parlor that you keep on eating. There's nothing like witchcraft in these things. But you believe, you become. You believe, you become. So that's what they are doing. So autism is a non-issue. But because we are feeding ourselves with bad foods, we want to protect the food industry and allow people to dictate what diseases we suffer from. Ask yourself in your lineage, when was the last time, if you have an autistic child right now, look back 50 years. Was there any autism in your family? But why do you believe that now genetics has become a serious problem? Like, it's only now that genetics is becoming a serious problem? How about 50 years ago? When people used to eat on tubers, people used to eat meat, people used to fast, people used to exercise by chasing animals. Don't allow those people to mess you up. And they were so good at what they were doing. They actually put all this nonsense in the syllabus so that they condition doctors, so that the doctors condition you. And it's just an amazing field. They sell you the fear only to bring you a solution. They kill your people through medication. If you're very keen and you're very observant, you'll start to see how then do they create an organization in Kenya that regulates drugs and is called Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And And now all of you, every weekend, you have your children in hospital. Every weekend, you have a children in hospital because you think you have the best insurance cover. Remember, the insurance idea came from them. And in those countries, insurance is actually destroying their people. Because you can walk in a hospital, you will get all the services, and you had that lady saying here, they even call you to tell you, hey, please come do a checkup. Please, your drugs are ready. Please, insulin has come in. We have a new stock for drugs. We have a new drug. They keep on updating you. They now give you a glucometer to put on your hand to monitor it on your phone. So anytime you eat a carbohydrate, you feel panicked. Your blood sugars are going up, you're popping a pill. The same pill they gave you. So they gave you the glucometer to sell you the fear, and then now they are giving you medication to actually clear their fear, clear your fears. Not going to happen. And I want you to note this. I want you to note these things. Listen, there are several pillars of healthcare. Whether your child has all these conditions or not, if your child has it, it's unfortunate, but you can still fix it because the body has always a way of internal healing. It fixes things, okay? The body has a way of attaining a balance. The only problem with us is we keep on distracting that balance. So this body is like a muscle. It was designed perfectly. If there is a problem, it heals on its own. That's the reason why you lose appetite when you're sick, because the body is actually trying to fix the problem. So that balance has to be retained back. It has to be brought back. You fed yourself on very unhealthy foods, you lose appetite, the body is trying to communicate to you. But guess what you do? You go to a pharmacy and buy appetite stimulants, right? You want to stimulate appetite, yet your body is telling you, hey, it's time for you not to eat. But you don't listen to it. You want a doctor to listen to your symptoms. You know, I don't have an appetite. Of course, you don't have an appetite. There's an appetite stimulant. Take it. Somebody is saying, Rudia, your appetite dog. It's true that when you're sick, you lose appetite. But when you lose appetite, that's when you want to eat more. Why do you want to eat more when the body is telling you, I don't want to eat? It's trying to fix problems. Why do you want to overfeed your children every time? When your children when they want food, they will ask for food. Modern parents. Look at this. And every therapy that will come from what we will talk about on this autism will hail from these pillars of healthcare. You know very well that you need to breastfeed your child for 6 months straight. Not even water. Don't even give them water. Not even the grip water that they give your children during your babies when they have colic. Simply breastfeed your child and lay them on the laps and rub their back until they burp. And they are good to go. Why would you find a solution in a product that has sugar? So how can you heal colic by giving sugar? Sometimes read the ingredients. Just read it. So do that. Now, you know very well you have to breastfeed this child for 6 months straight. You know very well those breasts are designed for that child. It's not for your man. Those breasts are not for men. They are for the children. Once you've given birth, they stop being the man's breast. They are now the child's breasts. Breastfeed. Why are you afraid of your breast sagging? It is nature. They will sag anyway. Do you expect to give birth and still maintain the same? And yet, when you are pregnant, your breasts enlarge to actually produce more milk for the baby? Why is it when you have a cow and then it gives birth and you see a big udder, you're so excited about this udder because you'll get more milk? That's nature, right? Why does it change when it comes to ladies? You're now scared, you know, my breast will sag. You're not going for the bras that lift your breast up, thinking that those breasts are supposed to impress men. Now listen, one day you will give a man those breasts to suckle when you've given birth. That will be the end of you. that will be the end of you. Might be the end of that relationship. Eh? Wachana nayo. Yaani wewe wacha. Kama ni kuanguka anguka nayo tu hivyo. Wacha zianguke. They were designed to be that way. Let them just provide nutrition for your baby for 6 months straight. Okay? Why are you asking me what will happen? Hey, men will lie to you. I love milk. Until they suckle a breast that has milk. Hey. Hey. Don't allow men to lie to you. You know, I like your breast. Give him a chance to suckle those breasts and just suckle that breast milk. End of relationship. He's out. That guy is out. So be very careful. Anyway, let's proceed. So why do you say you love milk, but when you're given that milk you don't want it? Man, hey, get away. So anyway, so the pillars of that are supposed to be centered on health of your baby and you. One, breastfeed these children for 6 months straight. And do you know there's no child that is diagnosed of autism from the day they are born? That's why it's called a developmental disorder. Developmental disorder. Why? Because it's not diagnosed from birth, which means these children develop it unless you're feeding yourself on crazy foods that actually affected the child's brain and spinal cord. Every mental health condition hails from a messed up gut. Trust me, you. Every mental health condition, regardless of the name, it hails from the gut. There is a direct relationship between the gut and the brain. Also between the gut and the skin. So is your child suffering from skin conditions, the acne, the allergies and all this? You call them protein allergies? Is your child depressed? Are they anxious? Do they have that ADHD? Do they have this condition, the autism? It all started from the gut. And how did it start from the gut? From what you were feeding on. You fed them through the umbilical supply. And then you continued feeding them. So look at it this way. You've not breastfed that child for 6 months straight, right? You are eating unhealthy foods when you're pregnant. You're the first to line that KFC line. You're the first to take those pregnant care supplements. Because you don't want to eat healthy. You want to eat processed foods and then take pregnant care to just protect you, right? You're the first in the companies for supplements, taking those supplements because you have the money, your husband can afford, right? You take these bad foods, you go ahead and take supplements that are synthetic and processed and they have preservatives. And then little by little you're hurting your child, your baby in the womb. You've been suffering hormonal imbalance before even getting the pregnancy. That was a red sign that you, of course, you have to change your diet before you can get the pregnancy. Now you're in pregnancy, you're starting to crave things that are not even making sense. And you're telling us that this pregnancy came with severe cravings. And then when I say it out, that pregnancy does not come with cravings, you tell me, you've never been pregnant. I don't need to be pregnant to know that you're eating unhealthy foods. Who on this earth craves for things they have never eaten? Hello? Ladies, because Dr. Lewis has never been pregnant, tell me, what is that thing that you crave that you've never eaten before? How can you crave for something you've never eaten? So are you not lying to us that the pregnancy came with cravings? If the pregnancy came with cravings, you would crave things that you've never, actually because of the baby, because you're blaming the baby. If the baby is the one that is coming with cravings, they will crave their own things. So you will eat what the baby is asking for, which you've never tasted. But you people crave for ice cream, crave for chocolate, sugar cane, things that have sugar, things that you've eaten before and you're addicted to them, but the pregnancy just exposes you through progesterone. The ovulation just exposes you. And you're like, you know, when I am ovulating, I crave chocolates. No, it is not ovulation that came with the cravings. It is ovulation that exposed your cravings already. Crave for mawe. Women eat stones all the time. Women have nutrient deficiencies. So the pregnancy just exposes the nutrient deficiencies because nature is speaking to you, telling you you're eating unhealthy foods and the baby will need food. The baby will need nutrition in the womb. So therefore, go and eat something that has these minerals so that the baby does not suffer because of your bad eating habits. You get the point? So it's you who is suffering from mineral deficiencies. By the time you're eating those stones, it's because you have mineral deficiencies because you're eating unhealthy foods. So now the body is telling you, hey, there's something special growing inside you. And you need to feed it healthy. So therefore, go and eat anything that has minerals so that this child does not suffer the consequences of you eating food from restaurants. So this baby has to breastfeed for 6 months straight. This baby has to have sleep. Or this even children. This starts from babies to children. At least babies can sleep on their own. But look at it on the sleep part. Your sons and daughters, they have phones nowadays. Some of them are even on TikTok because you want to be a modern parent, like, right? Your sons are on TikTok until late night. You don't even know what they are doing because the mother is there on TikTok, the father is there on something else, on a laptop or something, or even on TikTok. You're not paying attention to what children are doing. So they are watching porn, they are doing crazy things, they are watching other things, they are being conditioned through these programs. Nowadays, the cartoons are actually full of these issues with LGBT, XYZ. This child sleeps late, but you wake up this child at 4 a.m. because the bus will be at the gate at 5 a.m. A child sleeps at midnight. He's woken up at 4. For heaven's sake. What is so important about school that is not important in the health of your child? You want to take your children to private school, right? Yes, so wake them early at 5. By 6, this child is busy shaking because of wind or because of cold at the gate, waiting for a bus to come and pick them. And then the bus picks them, and these children are at school by 6:30. This child does not grasp anything, and then you are told to label your child as slow learner. This child is not a slow learner. They lack sleep. They are busy struggling to understand anything in school. They did not sleep. They were on phone. So you see, if you've ever had a client who has epilepsy, they are told to stay away from the lights of the phone, the brighter lights of the housing, the television lights, and all that. Why? Because they trigger excessive production of dopamine in the brain, and this is effective. This is actually going to destroy the brain. That's how they end up being epileptic. That's how they end up having this autism. And you see on the definition of autism, we said social interaction. So these kids are lacking mentors in you. They are finding mentors online. And anytime you're saying, I want my child to be mentored by you, Daktari, I'm thinking, but you're supposed to be the first mentor. I can mentor your child if they want to be in a medical field, but I'm not supposed to mentor your child in things that the father can do, in things that the mother can do. So I'm thinking there's a gap already. So these children sleep late and wake up so early, they are so disturbed. You know very well, if you sleep late and you wake up early, you will have a lot of anger in the morning. You're so disturbed. So what makes you think that your child is different? These children are not given water to hydrate, not even salt. These babies, you end up eating those crappy foods during pregnancy. You don't produce enough breast milk, and now you put your babies on milk formulas. From day one, this child is on milk formulas that are actually messing up the gut. And we said every mental health condition hails from a messed up gut. Now you're giving them those milk formulas. You're giving them those processed milk powders that have MSG, that have soy. And then these children, as the sons get into teenage, they're having problems with erection because of high estrogen that comes from the soy. These ladies, these babies, these girls in teenage, they're having problems with hormonal imbalance. Their menses are delaying, they have very painful periods, they have fibroids because of the soy they've been eating in these processed foods. And then you sit back and you're wondering, why is my child having all these problems? Why is my child having endometriosis? It's like endometriosis just came from the air and boom, it is in your child. No, it is from you and from the dust that you're feeding these children. A child sits in a KFC, takes that chicken plus those chips plus soda, and now you're belching your way to the pharmacy to go and take antacids. And now the stomach pH is so messed up you cannot even digest protein. But remember, hormones that regulate the balance of the body, hormones that regulate mood, they come from amino acids that are coming from meats. So now you're unable to digest the meat. And guess what is coming next? Hormonal deficiencies and imbalances. Therefore, insomnia is in. Therefore, mental health conditions are in. Depression is there. Anxiety is there. ADHD is there. Autism is there. But because we are modern parents, we will still protect that food industry and say, you know, healthy foods are expensive. You just bought pizza worth 900 shillings, right? You're given 2 so that you can come back. But you as a person, that 900 shillings, do you know how much meat and sweet potatoes that can buy? And you're still telling me healthy foods are expensive. So some of us love our own hell. We love our hell. We don't want to move out of hell. You don't want to be saved. So that was sleep. Then of course we've said the diets. So you start feeding your children on milk formulas and processed products from the time they're born. Now you give your children noodles. You give the children those cubes, the cubes that are put in sukuma wiki so that it tastes as though it has meat. You know them? Very famous from the time I was a young boy. We used to buy them at 2 shillings and we lick it. It used to taste so awesome, not knowing that that was MSG, that was actually masking our taste buds. And we cannot taste food in their natural states. That's why we think sukuma wiki is actually chicken. You know these things, guys. Yes, you know them. Now your child is always in the house, so they don't get an exposure to the sun. They are always in the house playing video games, watching these cartoons that are actually conditioning them to be gay. They watch cartoons and you're there cheering them. You bring them, you buy them the cartoons, you buy them the PS5, they're there sitting there watching these TV programs. Your child knows every single TV program. Your child is aware of every new series that is out there. He's actually waiting for the new episode. Always on phone, in the house. They don't have a chance to go out and enjoy the sun. Parents those days, they used to even take these babies to the sun when they have been bathed in that warm water. They put them on their laps and they let them enjoy the sun as they massage their legs and their backs and all that. So this was not fun. This was not at something fancy. No, it was something they understood, that the sun is very necessary for this child to synthesize vitamin D. And when they get vitamin D, all these conditions disappear, and you realize actually in autism there's a deficiency of vitamin D, vitamin E, omega-3, selenium, and iodine. Where are we getting vitamin D from? We are getting it from the breast milk if the child is still breastfeeding. That is cholesterol. And then that cholesterol is converted to active vitamin D through exposure to the sun. So you actually sun your child's backbone, the back, the spine, you expose it to the sun. And when they just feel that when you massage them, they start to release, the stress hormone starts to go down. And these children grow very healthy. Their brain starts to develop well because the brain needs the sun. If they are sons, their manhood needs the sun. All of us need the sun. But guess what? They come and tell you the sun is dangerous. Yet you believe them and you see Kushites. You know Kushites are the ones who have the highest rates of giving birth. Look at Isli. The Somali people are giving birth every single year. Somali women are giving birth every single year. Kushites. But these are people who come from places where the sun is scorching. But compare that sun with their cases and chances of skin cancer. Do they have it? They actually come, most of them have stomach cancers. Why? Because of taking sodas, taking sugars, chewing mirror that has MSG, taking antacids to mask cancer symptoms from the gut, thinking that it's hyperacidity. But they don't have skin cancer. Why don't they have skin cancer when they have all this exposure to the sun? The sun is the best and a natural way of healing. Enjoy the sun. Take these babies to the sun. So let your babies play outside. On feeding, on the diets also, feed your children with natural foods and not food products. Anything that is coming from the industry, it's packaged and advertised and preserved with more ingredients and it's fortified. It has no nutritional value to your baby. You don't need me to package sweet potatoes and write on preserved with. They have this, they have sugar, they have this. You don't need that. It's a sweet potato, it's a sweet potato. These are beans, they are beans. It's a pumpkin, it's a pumpkin. You don't need a label for healthy foods. This is an egg. But guess what? They tell you eggs are going to they're going to delay speech in your children. And now you deny your children eggs. And now you've denied your children eggs. Now they have delayed speech. And they will tell you it's not about you denying them the eggs. It is in the genes. It is in the genes. Now they've turned the story. They told you not to enjoy the sun. They told you not to eat, the children not to eat eggs because to delay their speech. And now the child is here. They have delayed milestones. And guess what? They are the first one to tell you, for delayed milestone, you have to do this. You have to see this type of specialist. Mzungu ni mwerevu. Akaiweka kwa syllabus. Alipoiweka kwa syllabus, then chose the brightest student in the society and trained them to do medicine. When he trained them to do medicine, now they condition you because they are so conditioned. They are just taking the syllabus, the guidelines, this, guidelines, that. They regurgitate the same syllabus. Imagine this. A medical student in their preliminary studies in first year and second year, they study biochemistry, they study physical chemistry, they study organic chemistry. They understand all the nutritional values and all these metabolic pathways. But after 6, 7 years, they come out of the system and they still tell you fruits are healthy when they know fructose is converted to fats to cause you a fatty liver. So what did they do in the first year? And this is where the problem comes in. We sit in the first years and second year and we are thinking these preclinical studies or preclinical units are a waste of our time. We don't even know how biochemistry is related to surgery. And then we come out of that system half-baked. We take an oath. But after taking the oath, the same person who taught you in medical school is your consultant during ward rounds on internship. So he still sells you the fear that he sold you in campus. He's now here selling you the same fear. Medical students on ward rounds, they are always taking the back bench, the back line. They don't want to ask questions. They don't want to be asked questions. They look as though they've been forced on ward rounds. And all of you know who are in the medical field. You're actually forced to go for a ward round. And the same old lecturer is here as the consultant, very respected in that hospital. You cannot ask him questions. Whatever he says is final, right? Hey. Anyway, let's take a break and let me shout out to my channels. Number one, my channel on YouTube is Health and Wellness Sport. We are at 28,800 and something. And I told you by the end of this month we will be at 30,000. Yes, we are headed there. So we are at 28,800, I think 65 or so. So if you're on TikTok, you've never visited my YouTube channel, simply flock there, go and subscribe and you can come back. That will be a pleasure for me. It is a library for you. That is one. Number two, on my Facebook, Lewis Muchile. Very interesting Facebook. Interactions that are there are just amazing. We receive a lot of positive vibes. We also receive a lot of emotional boys and girls who have high estrogen coming in to just pop in some comment there for attention. And we believe they're okay. I have a Telegram channel that is called Health and Wellness Sport, a very good Telegram channel that you can join in and it will act as your support group. Go there on Telegram, download Telegram right now and go there and find Health and Wellness Sport. Don't be that person who is occupying 7 Telegram channels and all of them are just gossip channels. Learn something new. Be in a group of people who will motivate you to be better. These are things that we post there every single day. On that note, also, our physical consultations in Nairobi are starting on 30th of this month and they will end on 9th of August. And you can use that contact that I pin there all the time, 070707 4722. It's a very easy number. Now, this is for those people who come. After this live, you again call me through my private number, my personal number, and you're asking me about consultation. Like, how ignorant are you? I just provide these numbers every single day. And then you come and call me through another number, and you're asking me the same questions that I've been asking here. And then when I ask you to call the office number, you get upset. Why are you getting upset? I mean, I also have a private life to lead. Not like my life is always centered on the lives and all that. So let's be respectful. And also call that number from around 8 a.m. in the morning or 9 a.m. to 5. Not call it beyond that. Okay? Not call it at midnight. Then you tell me I'm from Nigeria. I was requesting to pay for the consultation fee using crypto. You Nigerians, yeah? You are telling me I want to pay for my consultations. I have a family that I have to pay consultations for, but I'll use crypto. Do you use crypto in your country? Where? You want to scam us? Hey, where? We are not that advanced, please. If you crypto, you want to pay me with crypto? Hey, Nigerians, mtanimaliza. Sometimes you guys joke a lot, right? Kidogo mtaniambia ni trade. Daktari, now you can scam us by trading. Anyway. Then, our fermented cabbages, of course, they are well prepared and they are ready and they are at Imenti House. So you can go there at Imenti House first floor, shop number 60. You can go there and purchase your fermented cabbage. The feedback is amazing about fermented cabbages. I didn't know they were that awesome, okay? We're also bringing you, is it called tallow? The sheep tallow. Hey, amazing product. Also, be very careful because I'll bring you grounded coffee straight from where I am. These are the things that you will enjoy on these platforms. Grounded coffee, natural as it comes, sheep fat, natural as it comes, the tallow. You will enjoy fermented cabbage, natural as it comes. So I appreciate the fact that you're actually supporting us and giving us these ideas to just bring you authentic products. Do not allow anybody to sell you any other thing. We don't sell crypto. We don't trade here. We only sell those 3 products. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, very soon we are bringing you the coffee from Health and Wellness Sport, grounded coffee. We're also bringing you. I will actually post that sheep tallow so that you can actually make your orders and we continue leading a healthy life. Okay, so thank you so much for that. I had to do that. And don't forget, the weight loss program for 3 months is starting in August, on the 15th of August. So you can start preparing yourself early as this. But for now, you can easily book for your physical appointments through that contact. You can also book for the online appointments. We are ready for you. We'll make it interesting for you. Okay. Sadia is saying, you are a diamond. I pray they never buy off. They can't buy me. Listen, I know my worth. I know the reason why I'm doing this because it's a personal journey for me. So buying me is another thing. They can actually, let's say the best they can do is to switch off my channels. So if tomorrow you wake up, and you can join my channel on TikTok, it's called Dr. Lewis Muchile, because that's a backup account, okay? Because I know one day you can wake up and boom, all these channels are gone. You can see the flow of YouTube, how it is going. We are increasing the subscribers, but the numbers are very low. The views are very low. Why? Because they step on them. We know what they do, but we will not stop. We will keep on doing this, and we know one day they will hear, they will listen to us, and they will bring us on the table so that we can actually have these debates and challenge the system. Okay? So thank you so much for that. So yes, so now let's go back to what we are doing wrong. We are feeding our children wrong foods. We are not breastfeeding our babies. We are not giving them time to sleep because we put them in private schools that are picking them on their doorgate at 5 a.m. in the morning. The children are not exercising because they are sitting in their houses, watching TV, playing with phones and video games all through. They are not even enjoying the sun also. These children are not rehydrating adequately with water and salt. These children are fed every time and given antihistamines, given antibiotics. They are given anytime they have a slight pain, pap. Their tables, their surfaces are sanitized using Dettol all the time. So these children don't have an encounter with the microorganisms that make their immunity stronger. They are given appetite stimulants because they just don't want to eat. But children know what they know. When they are hungry, they will not stay hungry. They will run to you as the mother and they ask for food. So feed them when they are hungry. And their stress levels nowadays are going up. The modern child, the stress levels are in the roof. That's why we have all these erectile dysfunction cases in teenagers. So it's all our lifestyle that is actually leading us to where autism is coming from. Huh? It is all in our lifestyle. You cannot blame the genes. You cannot blame the devil. Take responsibility. Because anytime you blame, you hand over your power. You give out your power. So anytime you blame a pharmaceutical company, you're giving them your power. They will use that power to control you. Anytime you blame the government, they know you are weak. They will control you. Anytime you walk into a hospital and you come out complaining that there are no drugs in this hospital, the problem is you. Why are you not changing your kitchen? Hospitals are not coming in to change your kitchen. Nowadays, every 5 children you see or we meet, 4 are obese, are overweight, 3 are obese. You're wondering, hey? And now we are transferring these behaviors to our animals. People are raising dogs that are fat, stressed, depressed, and obese. Dogs are. So you see children with type 1 diabetes. You're wondering, where is this type 1 diabetes coming from? Yet 50 years ago, it was not there. So genes just woke up now. You see children having asthma. Children being diagnosed with crazy conditions like this one. DPP. What was the name again? Let's read that name again. Hey, it's good to remind you so that you can be on fire. Yes, it is PDD-NOS. Pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. Imagine that disease in your child. Now, if they tell you to give your child a whole 5 liters of poison, you will give that child morning and evening because of PDD-NOS. What type of diseases are these? Where did they come from? Hey. That one I'll not forget. Please hold that name. PDD-NOS. Pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. I am so tired, Mickey. I'm so tired. So even the name for the disease alone is confusing the parent. And now they decide to slap the parent with OCD again. They slap another child with ADHD. And now they slap all of you with medication for anxiety, for depression, for PDD. Hey, the system, the system. Be very careful. Your health is not in a hospital setup. Your health is not in the hands of the doctor. Your health is in your hands, in your kitchen. Once you change that kitchen, everything else works for you. And I'll remind you this every single day. You would rather kick out, you would rather report my channels so that they can be blocked. But I'll be there shouting in your ear. Anytime you're going to buy those cubes in a supermarket, I'm there. Hey, those are MSG. Anytime you're going to buy that processed meat, that canned meat or canned fish, I'm there. Hey, that has preservatives, that has MSG. That will kill you. That will destroy your child's brain. Anytime you're going to buy a seed oil that has an off, I'm there. Hey, bro, don't do that. Don't do that. Lead from the front. Here is tallow. If you ignore it, well done. You will come back as a client. Anytime you're going to buy that wheat, you call it atta, the brown one. I'm telling you, hey, your body does not know color. The body knows this is wheat, and the wheat comes with gluten and glucose. Stay away from wheat in all forms. Anytime you're thinking, today I'm going to lead a healthy life, I'm going to buy my children fruits, I'm telling you, no. Please buy those children avocados. That money, change it, invest it in avocados. Anytime I pass by and you're lining that KFC line, waiting for that chicken, waiting for those chips that are actually masked and covered in MSG, I'm telling you, hey, please don't do that, please. It's time for you to go and buy sweet potatoes. Invest that money in sweet potatoes. Anytime you're there trying to buy pasteurized milk in a packet, I'm telling you, hey, bro, hey, that is not milk. In fact, don't take milk because you're an adult. Adults eat meat because they have canines. They eat fiber because they have the molars and the premolars. Let milk remain for babies and calves. But again, don't change the species. Don't buy pasteurized milk. Let the baby suckle the mother. If they are done with the 6 months or the 1 year of suckling, introduce them to healthy foods and let them eat healthy foods. Anytime that mother is there saying, this is baby fat, I'm telling you, no, that's not baby fat. That is you eating yourself to where you are. Stop eating the carbohydrates. Anytime you're picking your phone to call that guy who supplies you with supplements, I'm telling you, hey, the best supplements are in diets. Go and take the natural ones in diets. Don't go for the synthetic ones. Anytime you're there trying to review your diabetes medication and you think of going to the hospital to get a new dose for the next 3 months, I'm telling you, hey, 3 months are enough for you to reverse diabetes. Fix the kitchen. Anytime you are on TikTok, you try to scroll over my video, there's another video coming in telling you, hey, why are you scrolling? Come back. We have to eat healthy. Eh? Anytime you're telling me, when I sweat, I smell bad, I'm telling you, hey, go to the gym and sweat even more. So you will hear me, whether you like it or not. You will hear me. I'll be loud. Goja tu. So imagine ADHD in children, diabetes in children, asthma in children, what else? This one, OCD in people, autism in children, a fatty liver, children having pot bellies, kidney diseases in children, heart diseases. Where are they coming from? So I eat the foods, the products that are coming from industries, and then I blame it on the genes. Are the genes coming also from the industries? I thought so. Because if the foods are coming with the genes, well done. Now I'm eating genes from the industry. These are not my genes. Your grandfather in that grave, he'll be turning and tossing, just hearing you saying, oh, this is because of the genes. I am obese. My child is autistic because the genes. And your grandfather is in the grave is thinking, but I don't remember autism. Where was the autism? He's even thinking, was there a name for this autism that I don't know? And now he comes into your dreams and torments and haunts you in your dreams. Like, no. You are not my lineage if you're telling me that this was in genes. I was a lean man. I lived 90 years plus. And I gave up because I said, now I let my sons and daughters and my grandchildren to continue with my legacy. And you're here at 24. You have type 1 diabetes, you have erectile dysfunction, you have hypertension, you have all these things, and you're blaming it on baby fat. You're blaming it on genes. They are disowning you in the grave. They are saying, no, that is not ours. Those are not our genes. Our genes were not designed for weak people. African genes are the strongest genes. They are not for weak people. We are not like black Americans who keep on complaining about everything. We are Africans, and Africa is our business. We have the best skin that doesn't need any product. But look at most women. You have the best skin, but you would rather go and remove this color and put on another color, and then end up hurting your kidneys. And then you come with a kidney disease and you open our subgroup. You want us to make sure that you get a new kidney. They bring to you all these LGBTXYZ things, and now our sons are having ruptured rectums. They are unable to hold stool. And now they bring you adult pampers and they put their prices up. You saw that other guy who was busy crying in the hospital? The guy who went to Aga Khan and is crying in hospital is telling you guys to raise funds for him. He's in Aga Khan. So he can find a chance to go to Aga Khan, but he doesn't have a chance to get money for treatment. And we are sugarcoating these things, saying that, oh, you know, Kenyans will only come through when this guy is dead. I mean, everybody has to die anyway, right? As long as you're not eating healthy, you're not exercising, you are involved in those kind of activities, what do you expect? So now we have to come in and buy you adult pampers because you're living your life, because we don't care, right? Or because Kenyans are awesome, they now have to come in and buy you adult pampers because you have a ruptured rectum. You're suffering from hemorrhoids left, right, and center, and now you have to go for the surgery. And now you want us to come in that WhatsApp group because we know you from the internet. I mean, we have important things to do, right? Yes, let's be honest with each other. Let's tell each other this is not right. You cannot take that route and then you want to adopt children from a straight couple. I mean, does it even make sense? That's against nature. How can you be of that gender? That generation, and then you want to adopt my children? And those families that actually give children to these people, those families are also involved in these things, because how can a straight person give or adopt or give children to be adopted by somebody who has that identity? No, we will not allow that. We will not take this lightly. We will not allow our African virtues to be destroyed. We will not allow diseases and things that are coming from the West to come here and destroy our order of family. We can't allow that. Yes, we are compassionate as Africans, but we don't allow nonsense. Those people sit back and look at you doing all these things, and they're wondering, how stupid are these people? They can't even see we are actually messing them up. And because we are excited with little money, they sponsor anything we follow. They give us some coins here. We are there supporting everything. We are brighter than that. Ladies and gentlemen, family is everything for an African person. Diets are everything. And all these diets, we are lucky to be Africans. They are here. They are here. Our children are not supposed to suffer from all these conditions that we make them believe. Imagine making a child to believe that they are autistic from that early age, and then you take them to a school for special needs, and this child is actually indoctrinated to believe they are the weaker generation, that they cannot come out of autism because now you're in a special community. You know, you deserve to be here with other people who are suffering from the same conditions. But I thought if you want these genes, in quotes, to disappear, you are supposed to intermingle. Just the same way, if you want genes of bad character to disappear in a family, you intermarry. Different communities, different clans marry. That was the essence of getting the bad genes out of their lives. But now you take these children and put them in a rehab center. You put them in a special school. These children are woken up so early. These children are fed with the same food that actually they left home. So they are going there, they are fed with rice, chapati, maharagwe, ndengu, and all these carbohydrates. They are given pasteurized milk. They are given more of this food. Sometimes they are treated to a special diet and they are brought pizza. Autistic children being given pizza, still eating wheat, messing their guts. And we just say the gut has a direct relationship with the brain. And then there's an NGO that is coming with medication. Okay, this is a package for autistic children. Give it to them. We care about African children who have autism. Do you? Hey, well, you don't care about children who have autism. No, you have an agenda that you're actually pushing. If any case, you saw in Tanzania, albinos are disappearing. Yeah? It's a crime to be an albino in Tanzania. Why? Those NGOs are doing witchcraft with those people. What is happening in Tanzania? that that now that an albino is a crime. Being an albino. Ay, 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 ay. We don't want albinos here. We want a clean country. Yeah? Tunasafisha. And the organs are used for rituals. Protect those children by all you have. Protect your children by everything that you have. It is your duty to do that. And this is a duty for fathers. Protection is a duty for men. Wake up. Wake up. You can't be asking for anal sex from a woman, from your wife, and you're telling us you're a man. You're not. Just tell us you're in that generation and we classify you there. You can change the kitchen of your children. You don't have to push your children into schools that are actually going to indoctrinate them and make them believe they are weak. No African child is weak. They keep on bringing in vaccines. And these vaccines, we don't even question them. Our regulatory bodies don't even question vaccines. COVID vaccines were coming from wherever they were coming from, straight to Kenyatta Hospital. Straight. Yet we have a national quality control laboratory in Kenya. Yet we have the Pharmacy and Poisons Board. The only thing we see is people with pot bellies and a tie standing on the doors of the aeroplane, clapping as the vaccines are coming in. And on the other side, your favorite minister is there, reading, scaring you all through and telling you, now we have come out with a solution. There are vaccines that are coming in. 10 years down the line, we have all these deformities in our children. We're wondering where this is coming from. But the mother took the vaccine. People take vaccines and still get disease. I got TB, tuberculosis, and yet I have a vaccine for TB. So how did I end up getting TB when I had a vaccine for TB? I am a doctor. You, how about you, who has no information about these things? Tukunywe maji. Hey, hey. Mary is asking me, are you anti-vaccine? Mary, I'll ask you a question. What do you mean by anti-vaccine? And I want you to tell me, what vaccine do you know has changed people's life? Name one. Tell me about polio, right? At least that one I'll accept. But tell me any other vaccine that has actually changed people's lives. Ever since you were born. You had, there was bad flu. Yes, polio you accept. There was bad flu. There was H1N1. The bad flu changed to become COVID. So the vaccines that were put on the shelves just they were converted to just become the same vaccines for now. Yellow fever changed whose life? Yellow fever, you're being given it right now to keep on going out so that you can actually fly out of the country. Tetanus is a toxoid. Toxoid. You think your body is so weak that it cannot handle tetanus. There is no microorganism that can survive in that body if you have the highest immunity. And how do you have high immunity? That's what we do here every other time, to tell you to fix your diets. Does it hit you? There are children, and this is why I like Kushites. There are children in this generation that have never seen a vaccine, and they are so well. They are so well. But anyway, sorry for another day. So allow me to tell you this for free as I finish this conversation. Autism, the causes are very easy. The biggest of them all is diet. And when I say diet, let me just say products. And the major part of the products is MSG and fructose, which is sugar. So fructose or sugar in all forms, seed oils that actually destroy the brains and the neurons, wheat products that actually mess up the gut so that you cannot absorb nutrients in the adequate amounts and optimum amounts. These are the things that actually mess up these children. And they start with the pregnant woman, or even before you get pregnant. So start fixing your diet right now if you're hoping to get pregnant. That is one. Number two, there is accidental stress on the neurons. Now, I don't believe in the word accidental, but this is possibly maybe an accident naturally, or trauma, okay? But let's just say accident of the neurons, inflammation of the neurons, of the nerves. So how do we end up having inflammation of the nerves? The same food that cause inflammation of the gut. You know very well. And guess what? What fixes nerve damage or inflammation in the system is cholesterol. So the liver uses cholesterol to fix inflammation, whether for the brain, for the nerves, for the gut, for the blood vessels, cholesterol. So therefore, increase the cholesterol levels. Another one is antioxidants in the system. Low antioxidants, let me say that, low antioxidants. Antioxidants are what the liver uses to actually clean up the system. And the best antioxidant is actually vitamin E. Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means you cannot absorb it from the vegetables without eating the fatty meats, because it has to dissolve in the fat for you to absorb it. Or if you're doing vegetable salads, and then top dress them with either coconut oil or extra virgin olive oil, so that you get to dissolve them in the fat and then you absorb them in the small intestines. And the vitamin E will be used as an antioxidant by the liver. But there's another good antioxidant that I told you. Those of you who remember, the one that is found in cabbage juice, what is the antioxidant? Cabbage juice, when you're making a cabbage juice, you just blend cabbage plus carrot plus bell pepper plus the coconut flesh. You make a carrot juice. This is very healthy for your babies. And there is a compound in the cabbage that naturally the liver uses to detoxify the system. Vitamin C is an immune booster, it's not an antioxidant as such. That compound is called glutathione. Now, glutathione is rich in the liver, glutathione is rich in cabbage, glutathione is rich in green leafy vegetables. And this is what the body uses to detoxify the system. And this is actually one of the things that is actually used. The pharmaceutical companies end up creating a drug. Yeah, glutathione, yes. It is in a supplement, actually. And they give you a supplement that is synthetic. So they make a drug in terms of a supplement to help you in detoxifying the system. But you can get glutathione in cabbages. So use cabbage juice. And I've told you how to make cabbage juice. Simply blend cabbage plus carrot plus bell pepper plus the coconut flesh. And give it to your children. Give your children bone broth that has all the minerals that they need. Selenium, zinc, iodine, that is needed as a deficiency in autism. Give your children foods that are rich in omega-3, fatty meats, the liver, the eggs plus the yolks, avocados. And then cook their foods using the saturated fats, the ghee, the tallow, the coconut oil. If you can find the avocado oil, well done. So these are foods that are rich in omega-3. And you see omega-3 is also an antioxidant and it's also an anti-inflammatory. So simply understand that autism is inflammation of the nerves and also inflammation of the brain. So how do you treat inflammation? Supply antioxidants, supply cholesterol for healing. And then stop eating or feeding your children with things that actually cause these problems. Stop feeding your children with the milk formulas and milk powders. Stop feeding your children with those nutrition supplements in hospitals, the one that tastes like groundnuts. Stop feeding your children with foods from those food parlors and the restaurants. Stop feeding your children with wheat products. Some of you, your children eat a lot of queen cakes. Queen cakes, a child eats 6 queen cakes and then a pot belly is now protruding. Look at 6-year-olds weighing about 48 kgs. You're wondering, where is this one going to? The child is always having allergies, always having this blocked nose. And the child comes from school, 2 sausages, given margarine on bread. So he applies margarine on bread, and it happens like you can think that this is another piece of bread, another slice of bread, yet that is just a layer of margarine. And then you give them pasteurized milk, you give them yogurt. Stop feeding your children with the products. Feed your children with healthy foods, and autism will not be a problem. So number 1, we say it is diet, of course. Number 2, we say it is the accidental stress to the neurons. And number 3, of course, is inflammation to the mitochondria. Now, this is one thing you should know, that your mitochondria is an organ that can also, is actually an organelle that actually plays, is a machinery, the energy machinery in the cells. So every food that you eat goes through the mitochondria and is processed to give you ATP, which is energy. Also, when you get inflammation in the system, or when you expose yourself to seed oils and all these foods that cause inflammation, they actually hurt the mitochondria by causing oxidative stress to the mitochondria. But the mitochondria is the one that actually detoxifies that again through oxidative phosphorylation. But when you cause oxidative stress to the mitochondria, this is where cancer starts from. This is where mental health conditions starts from. ADHD is here. Depression is here. Anxiety is here. OCD is here. Autism is here. So when you mess up your mitochondria, and if you're an adult, the more you fast, the more you clean up the mitochondria. It's called mitophagy. So do you know of autophagy? Autophagy is when your cell cleans itself from the debris that are just there wasting time and converts them to energy. That is autophagy. But mitophagy comes after autophagy. So now cleaning the mitochondria to get the healthy energy sources that actually provide energy for your brain and your cells. Also the nerves. And good thing is, the same foods that protect the liver, that protect the brain, that protect the nerves are the same foods that protect the mitochondria. This is the reason why I tell you fixing the gut is most important. It's the most important thing to any health condition. Number 3, low protein diet. Why am I saying low protein diet? Is because all the amino acids that regulate biological functions, they come from protein, animal protein. Stay away from the plant-based protein when your child is suffering from this. Don't give them dengus, soya beans, and all that. At least give them beans, because beans will supply them with folate. And folate is necessary in rejuvenation of DNA and nerve function. So the beans are the grains that you can actually feed your children on. Mash the beans and give it to them. Soak them in bone broth. Let them take that. It's very healthy. But all other grains, let them be. So if you have an autistic child, it's time for you to fix their gut. Give them, cook their foods in saturated fats, the ghee, the tallow, the coconut oil. Give them avocados as their only fruit. Feed them with healthy protein, the liver, the eggs, the meats, minced meat and all that. The chicken, the fish that have high content of omega-3. Drop all the inflammatory foods, the seed oils, the wheat, and the sugars in all forms, including fruits and honey. Feed them with vegetables and the vegetable soups and the blends, the juices, or the smoothies. Children are very adaptive. They will adapt to this. Do not say that, my child cannot taste, that cabbage is not tasty for my child. It is not tasty for you. Right now, children are feeding themselves on fermented cabbage. You even wonder, a child as early as 3 years, they are enjoying fermented cabbage. There are people who come on this live and they tell you, my children are enjoying fermented cabbage, and anytime it's going to end, they're asking me, Mom, why? Please make another fermented cabbage. They are enjoying it. But because of your addiction to sugar, you want to make that addiction to be genetic. You want to pass it to your children. Of course, they will adapt on what you're eating. So at least eat healthy for them to adapt to do that, okay? You will save a lot of money, you save a lot of resources, and you'll change the lives of your children. Nobody wants to have a child who is autistic and who is suffering from all these conditions. But if you have one already, we don't stigmatize you. We tell you, you can simply reverse these things by feeding your children healthy foods. But you cannot push healthy foods on your child when you're eating unhealthy foods. That is you punishing that child. Because the child adapts they learn by adaptation, imitation, and observation. They observe you and they eat what you eat. There is no way a mother can eat 5 meals a day and still snack in between, and you expect your child to eat 3 meals a day. It's impossible. And now remember, we already 1-0 down because we are taking our children to boarding schools earlier. So whenever they are going to boarding schools or they are going to these private schools, whatever they are eating there, you have no control over. But make sure when they come back home, let them eat what they have to eat. Let them eat what you're eating. Let them have healthy foods so that by the time they're going back to schools, they have a healthy body and system. Let them play outside. Let them enjoy the sun. Let them sleep early. Deny them the phones. There's no reason why a child should have a phone. Even if they have CBC, give them possibly an hour or 2 for their assignments, and that's it. Don't be a slave. The governments are not here to change your child's life. Okay? So basically, solutions: increase protein diet, make it fatty. Number 2, cook using saturated fats. Number 3, increase vegetable diets. You can do that through the smoothies. Number 4, increase the organ meats, increase the eggs. Number 5, avocado juice is very perfect. Let avocado be the only fruit. Number 6, give them beans for the folate. Number 7, give them nuts. You can ground the nuts and make the peanuts, not the processed one, the natural one. Give it to them. They'll get the magnesium, the selenium, the vitamin E, and the zinc. And if you can grind it together with pumpkin seeds, the better, because of the zinc. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how you reverse autism. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you reverse all these health conditions that happen in our children. This is also how you prevent further occurrences of this condition in your children. This is how you raise a healthy pregnancy, so that when you give birth, you can be able to breastfeed your child for 6 months straight and then wean them on healthy complementary foods. It will be easier for them to even fast when they get to teenage age, teen age. Okay? So yeah, unless there's any question, we call it a night. This is very interesting, right? These topics are very interesting. They are very captivating, and yeah, you learn a lot, because that's why we do this. It's not only you who is learning from me. I'm also learning from you, because when I talk about these things and I read the comments, I realize people eat a lot of bad foods, and they transfer these behaviors to their children. When they transfer these behaviors to their children, they now start blaming the genes. Now you'll see somebody has asthma, an adult has asthma, and because they're eating the wheat, the seed oils, and all these bad foods, and their children end up eating the same food, they get asthma and allergic reactions, and they say, asthma runs in my family. At this moment in time, who has asthma and they're still eating chapati? And they still blame it on genes. And then the system lies to you that you can outgrow asthma, that when you reach a certain age, your asthma will just disappear miraculously. Is it not the same nonsense that the system tells you that when you give birth, your menstrual pain will disappear? Nana Perry is asking, Doc, where can we meet you in person apart from meeting in Nairobi? Hey. If I reveal where I am, the big farmer. But anyway, you can use that contact that I've pinned there to get to us. That's my office contact, so yeah. Somebody is asking me, how can I fix cysts when I just did a whole live on estrogen dominance and it's on YouTube? I've not even locked it. It is still there. You can simply watch it and enjoy it. So go on YouTube and watch that live that I'm talking about, estrogen dominance. Good, there's somebody who has requested to be in here. Let's see if you can have this conversation with them. But just before that, allow me to market my platforms. Health and Wellness Spot on YouTube. Go there and subscribe. Let those numbers go up. We are targeting 30,000 by the end of this month. So you can actually help me get to that number. One day we'll get to 100,000. They will start listening. One day we'll get to 1 million subscribers. We are not in a hurry to get there. As long as the message is getting to people, that is our interest. We appreciate. So it's up to you to help us to spread this gospel by spreading our YouTube channel, spreading our videos, sharing them. You don't have to be mean. Share these videos, because when you share them, somebody who is in need will get them. There are so many autistic parents who are not on this live right now. But if they end up getting this information, it will change their lives for the better and their children's lives. So you can be very mean if you come in, listen in, get the information. You don't have an autistic child, but you know how to prevent yourself from getting one. And you know somebody who has an autistic child and you have never taken a chance. You cannot take a chance to share this live to them. My videos on YouTube are educative, they are challenging, they are there, the lives are there. Just go and share it to those WhatsApp groups, those Facebook groups. Do not care, just share it. Those questions and that negative energy, do not even care about it. I can handle it. We want to get bigger to a point that we can now start creating awareness and making sure that we actually come after those doctors that are rogue, that are actually doing the same things over and over. We ask them, how is it possible that you're regurgitating the syllabus that was written in 1980s to treat conditions that are happening now? How is it possible that diabetes, hypertension, and chronic conditions, there's so much research and they are evolving, science is evolving, but the syllabus is still the same? So is science evolving only in words, but the treatment guidelines are the same? So which science is evolving? I'm so confused. Why are you giving these names? And if you leave this live with this PDDNOS. At least leave this live knowing PDDNOS, because we will repeat it over and over. PDDNOS, what does that mean? Pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified. Aye, yeah. Yeah? Pervasive development disorder, otherwise not specified. And this is a person who actually took a Nobel Prize. Kwani kwani hizi Nobel Prize zinapeanwa aje? They're just chucked out. Of course, the pharmaceutical companies are the ones that determine who will take a Nobel Prize and for what reason. For coming up with a new formula, for coming up with the new disease, for now coming up with solutions to these new diseases. Pharmaceutical companies. And right now I understand I'm so hated by people who have chemists and so that and all that. But you see, if you dislike me because of what I'm preaching, it's because you're on the wrong side of this nation, of the law, of the oath. Mananchi Ulaya, it can be done. I got a friend from Jamaica who is following you faithfully. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That spreading the gospel is what I need. It's very important for me and for you also, so that we don't just move. You know, if we move as a small crowd, it will not reach other people. So because these channels, they do it all the time. They limit monetization, they limit the spread of the videos, and we know they are doing it. But we are creating a generation that is bigger. They will not be able to stop the train. So join my Telegram channel, also Health and Wellness Spot, so that you can get all you need there. And I think I've done so much justice on this condition, and I hope that we can handle another condition on Wednesday. Right? Keep opening our eyes, Doc. It's my duty to do that. And you see, health is a personal journey for me. Hey, what do people have suffered? Mwananchi Ulaya, it's Eutychus. Eutychus, bro, how are you? Man, excited to have you here. A gentleman from UK. This gentleman just, man, amazing, Eutychus, to have you here. Thank you so much for joining in. Yes, African lady.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fine. Talk to us.
I like what you are doing.
Are you in a place? I wish you would settle down because there's a lot of background noise coming from your side.
How about right now?
Awesome, amazing. I can hear you clearly. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fine. Where are you talking to us from?
From here. I am right with you.
Amazing, amazing.
We
Welcome.
go far.
Welcome on board.
Yeah. I like what you are doing.
Thank you.
And yet our people sometimes they don't say why this one is wrong. How can I reverse? No one think that way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And the last 40 years, pharmaceutical, all kind of medical, they were not taught how to solve problem.
Mm-hmm.
They have been taught how to solve symptoms.
Yes.
So that pharmaceutical to continue making money, education no longer be the same as people used to get in 40 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's hard some of the things to reverse, but through by learning from one another is the best way that we can reverse.
Yeah, true. That's true.
Transparency, honesty, knowledge. It works. Sometimes people can benefit from one another.
Yeah, true. Amazing.
Yes, and that knowledge and everything, it has come through the social media. And some few things who have already made some website here and there, and not actually many people sometimes to go through to those.
Yeah.
But where you are right now, many people can approach, and I really thankful to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Amazing. Amazing.
Although my network is not good, I'm communicating with you from Cielo County.
Isiolo is in the building. Thank you so much.
Yes, so
yeah. Thank you so much from African lady. I appreciate you. Thank you, man. This is amazing. Amazing, African lady. Thank you for coming through. And I really appreciate the job that you're doing. I've seen multiple of your things. I didn't just know this is you. Hey, man, thank you. Yes, we have 15,000 people to go. Just the likes. 100,000 likes is not a big deal, right? People on TikTok, I was told to remind you, 100,000 is good for us.
So 100,000 likes is not a big deal.
Yes, hello. How are you? This one is
Hello, Doc.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, Doc.
Your name is the Hub Master. The Hub Master, is that your
Yes,
name?
I am the hub master. I deal with the hubs. Yeah, no, my name is Maurice.
Okay. Maurice, the Hub Master.
But I grow hubs. I grow hubs.
Welcome on
yes,
board.
I do hubs. Yes.
Talk to us, bro.
So, Doc. Sometimes back, I worked with the National Councils for Persons with Disability.
Yes.
In Kisumu.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw autism is categorized among disability.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you are talking about special schools for persons with disability.
Mm-hmm.
We used to visit schools with children with autism, and they are together, and the diet is the same thing that you are talking about. And I didn't know that it's actually a diet condition that can be reversed.
Amazing.
And right now, I know of a parent who has a child with an autism, and I just want to thank you for that information.
Yeah, man.
As soon as you upload the video on YouTube, I'll send the link.
Man, thank you so much for that, bro.
Yeah, and then another thing, Doc. I've been following you for a very long time, and people say that I've joined a cult. Yeah.
Okay.
And people say that this guy is just using you. But I told them, Dr. Lewis has given us everything for free, even the fermented cabbage that he sells.
Yeah.
He taught us how to make it ourselves.
Yes.
Because I remember your initial video, you taught us how to make beef tallow, you taught us how to make fermented cabbage, you have taught us everything, and I was like, how is he benefiting? What is he taking from me?
Exactly, bro.
And whatever you have done, on Tuesday, I went to donate blood for a cousin of mine who has sickle cell anemia.
Yeah.
And I have talked to the parents on the diet and everything, but they're not listening. So the funny thing is that I was 52 kg when I started following you. I was around 46 kg. I was skinny fat.
Yes.
And right now I am 52. I started going to the gym. And so my blood count was at 16.
Yes.
And the guy that we were with him to donate blood was 80 kg, and his blood count was 12. He could not donate blood.
he has more fat than blood.
Yeah. So, me, I just want to thank you. Me, you have literally changed me. Sikuzi napendeza sana.
Bro,
my self-confidence, you. And I'm happy. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Doing the good.
Man, thank you so much, bro. Thank you. And it's a pleasure to have you here. It's a pleasure that we have had somebody who actually relates the story of autism, and you've actually painted the exact picture of what is happening in this institutions. So thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and keep saving your life, bro.
Yeah, thank you.
Amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, if you just get the laughter, the pleasure in his laughter, you can easily see this is a saved man, right? And the other fat guy, these are the types of people who will hate on everything I do. You can imagine. I teach you how to make fermented cabbage, and then I come up with a way of making it in the easiest way possible so that you can adapt it. And after teaching you, I come out with it selling it. So I've empowered you with the information to make it. But if you're unable to make it, you buy it. And then you start complaining. That is not even fair, right? That's not fair. This gentleman is also amazing, bro. Keep saving your life and that's just, hey man. I love this. I love that type of energy. I love that type of energy. Hey, and a lot of people have decided to request now. This conversation never end. Our lives, we can run a live the whole night, but we don't want to do that, right? We want to make sure that we have the information. Yes, Rob.
Yes, Dr. Ari, how are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you, bro?
I'm good, bro.
I'm excited to have you here. Talk to us.
Keep it up, whatever you're doing, keep it up.
Thank you, man.
I am your colleague. We support you as much as we differ sometimes in areas.
Yeah.
We understand.
Thank you, man.
Medical is very unique.
Yeah.
Medical is very unique. Hii ni kama uganga.
Ukweli.
You see, what one doctor is using to treat somebody could not be the case. But at the end of it, the pieces of education that you're giving to society, what you're doing without even much gain, it is really, really amazing. So
Yeah.
we do respect you for that.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Most of us, we might not agree with you,
Yeah.
but as learned people, we don't differ in public. But whatever you're doing, sir, it's really, really good.
Thank
Really
you, sir.
tremendous.
Thank you, sir.
So much.
Allow me to ask you, what do you differ with me on?
A bit, few things here and there.
Yeah.
I won't speak here. Maybe I'll speak here privately.
Okay.
Yes.
No problem. I respect that. Thank you.
But actually, what you're doing, it's so amazing, you know.
Yeah.
Most of us, we can't really be able to grab different areas like you, you know.
Yeah.
You're amazing, bro. Thank you so much. Even as we are learning.
I appreciate, bro. Thank you so much for that, bro.
Yeah, thank you. We support you.
Thank
we
you.
support you.
Amazing. Now listen, you see, when you hear such type of information, it excites me because we can differ on matters of maybe personality and stuff, but let's have a conversation around principles, right? Because I know that many doctors are actually following my platforms and they're monitoring it all through, but it takes guts for somebody to come in and just say these words to us, because it's not easy to do what we do. Sometimes it might look controversial, but trust me, there's always a positive vibe in anything. And I know most doctors will come in someday to start having this conversation, because we're actually changing people from where they are. So if you change the masses, the doctors will not have an option but to preach the truth. And our principles are basically the truth. We'll preach the truth, and we welcome any form of challenge, any form of contradicting information that will actually bring a debate that is in the benefit of our clients. Bring it on. So thank you so much, Rob, for making that make sense. So thank you. I told you one thing that is standing between your health and your doctor is ego. Yes. So, she's thank you for pushing the agenda of 100K likes, and we are there. I appreciate. Mickey,
Yes, Daktari.
make it short tonight.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, you know, sometimes I make it long.
Mm,
I'm fine, thank you.
yeah.
So, first of all, I would like to say thank you for always being here. You never get tired of us. You never get tired of our questions, our nagging on the comment section, and sometimes doubting you.
Yeah.
Regardless, you just come.
I appreciate.
So, as for me, I'll always be here because I know one day I'll meet one of your followers on the hospital corridors and I cannot take the challenge.
They will whip you.
I cannot. I cannot be behind. I want to be the same page with them.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask about is cerebral palsy the same as autism? Are they treated the same? Are they the same? You see, me, I don't understand these conditions about the inborn conditions. The conditions these babies get, I don't understand them much because they are complicated, as you said. They are complicated and they are very hard. So I wonder if cerebral palsy is treated the same as autism.
Yeah, it is. Why? Because of nerve problems. Now you see, most of these conditions, the only thing that confuses most people is not that you don't know the disease. It's just that the way they define the disease to suit the pharmaceutical agenda. Okay? Yeah, it's the way they define the diseases to just suit the agenda of the pharmaceutical companies. So immediately you know the problem is coming from somewhere. If it's a nerve problem, simply understand that this is a gut problem. Feed the child well. So cerebral palsy, autism, epilepsy, depression, anxiety, ADHD, all these conditions are just hailing from the same causes. But we want to sugarcoat them and give them very beautiful names so that they confuse people. Sometimes we give them very complicated names so that our people get to suffer and they just conform to the pharmaceutical company's agenda. So yeah, it is the same.
A woman I know has an autistic boy, and then she has this tick in her mind that during the delivery, the nurses or the midwives tampered with the boy's head, and then that is why he got autistic.
Yeah, because that is actually classified as number one of our number two of our causes, right? The trauma and accidental nerve damage.
Okay, that's truth.
How old is the baby?
11.
Oh, 11.
Yeah.
I start advising him about dietary modifications. And an 11-year-old, and then when they get to about 16 there, 17 there, we can encourage them to do 2 meals a day. And we lower the carbohydrates intake total so that we get ketone bodies that will actually fix the brain and the nervous system.
Okay, so where do we classify the hydrocephalus and spina bifidus?
Yeah, again, the same thing. What is hydrocephalus?
It's just fluid in the brain.
That's the point. Where is that fluid coming from? Inflammation.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a 3 months old girl with that condition. Just 3 months. Yeah, unfortunately she died.
Oh, she did. Did they do the surgery to drain the fluid?
Yes. No, they didn't get there.
Because I always see them doing surgeries to drain the fluid to the stomach, but the problem is they drain the fluid perfect, but the diets are still the same, which is just a mess. See, the body has a way of fixing itself. So if you're actually helping it drain the fluid, and then now fix the diet so that the body adapts to it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, because diets alone can, because
the
surgery alone.
Bifidus, what about the spina bifida? Are they also because of poor diets?
You see, Mickey, when I talk about chronic conditions, and then I talk about diets that affect diabetes, that actually help you reverse diabetes, and then somebody comes in and asks me, how about diets for hypertension? When we know diabetes is actually a cause of hypertension, that's a question that is a little crazy, because if I'm talking about diets, I'm not talking about, you see, I talked about CNS conditions. I didn't just talk about autism alone. I talked about central nervous problems, which basically is the brain and the spinal cord. So whatever issue that is hailing from the brain and the spinal cord, whether you go rounds and rounds and give me new names or whatever, the condition is the same. Inflammation of the brain and the nerves. How do you treat that? Dietary modifications. If it's an adult, take him on fasting so that they recover even faster. So hata ukaleta jina ingine tuseme APQ na bado ni ya brain na spinal cord, I still take you through the same things.
The reason why I'm asking is because that spina bifida is the one they scared me with, so that they could take the IFAS.
But do you know this is the reality? Let me tell you this. You see, what time were you being taken on this IFAS? At what time of the pregnancy?
Around 4 months.
You see, at 4 months, it's already too late. Even if you take the IFAS, the folic acid will not assist the baby. Do you know the growing baby? Do you know why? Because the brain and the spinal cord fuses in the first 4 weeks of a pregnancy. So if you're supposed to take the folic acid to protect the child from these spinal cord issues, what do? You start taking the folic acid 6 weeks before you get pregnant. Why? Because by the time you are achieving a certain therapeutic control or a certain therapeutic concentration of folic acid in blood. And this is synthetic folic acid. It's not even natural folic acid that comes from the egg yolks, the beans, and the green leafy vegetables and the liver. It is synthetic. So by the time you are attaining a certain therapeutic dosage in the blood or therapeutic level in blood, you have taken about 6 to 8 weeks to get that therapeutic level. So imagine taking it at 4 weeks of pregnancy when the brain and the spinal cord have already fused. What are you doing? And this is the reason why that folic acid ends up getting these children into congenital issues. Because you're supposed to, as a pregnant woman, you're supposed to feed healthy to get all these nutrients for the baby, not feed unhealthy foods and go and take folic acid after 4 weeks of pregnancy. But pregnant women are being given IFAS after 6 weeks of pregnancy. So you're wondering, how is it going to help if at all we are giving folic acid to go ahead and help in preventing the neuronal tube defects? But this neuronal tube fuses, the brain and the spinal cord fuses in the first 4 weeks of pregnancy. So we are actually supposed to take it before we even get pregnant, so that by the time we are getting into the 4 weeks of the fusion, we already have the therapeutic dose in blood.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a waste of time taking those supplements.
That is answered.
Yeah.
That is answered. What about, have you ever heard of that of someone who has IHB? Because for me, I've never heard of that. But I had a case today, when the patient had 14.6 HB, and then he was sent to us for that counseling.
Counseling for what?
After that, they said that the blood volume is too high.
But I've seen people with a HB of 17.
For me, I've never seen beyond 13.
So tell me, that person, what symptoms was he experiencing for him to go for counseling?
None.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey. Hata wangemwambia tu aende afanye donation. I've seen people with a HB of 17. And these people are they're actually just walking. You're like, hey, guy, you have a HB of this, you'll end up. So yeah, guys, I have to call it a night. 2 hours is enough already for the live. So let me take in the last call and then we call it a night. And I hope that we can do this again over and over and over, and so that we can answer your questions. Okay? I have to finish this because yeah, I have to finish it. We've already taken 2 hours already, and yeah, tomorrow I have a morning run. We have to do these things, and we will do this again on Wednesday. So guys, thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate every one of you, and thank you for supporting us through YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and all these platforms. We hope that you keep on supporting us. We hope that you keep on changing lives, share our lives all over, and we hope that we can see you again on Wednesday as we talk on another topic. So thank you so much for each and every one of you who has taken time to be here to listen to me, and I hope that Wednesday, same time, same place, we will be here. Have a good night, have a good morning, have a good afternoon, and God bless you.